Hi everyone, my name is Harrison Halstead and this is a documentary about my school day. I feel great about my schedule and I love all of my teachers. I arrive prior to 8:30 a.m. and wait for my first class to start. After the bell rings, I head to my first class of the day, which is physics with Mr. Cole. Before class starts, Mr. Cole discusses with the class our schedule for the day and what we have planned for the week. After he discusses this information with the class, I get to work with the group that is stationed at my table. Our work usually is either on paper or assigned to Google Classroom on our Chromebooks. Usually when I don't understand a question or what my group is doing, I ask my group mates or Mr. Cole for help. Usually that helps give clearer instructions to me and usually helps me get back on track. I sometimes get to do science experiments with my group. We usually do the experiments as a group. At the end of the class, we reset the class to prepare for the next one and Mr. Cole says goodbye to the class. Hello everyone, I'm Harrison Halstead, and this is my math class with Mrs. Schaff. Let's go take a look and see what's on today's schedule. After physics is done, I head to my second class, which is geometry with Mrs. Schaff. When I arrive, I greet Mrs. Schaff and say hello to Miss Catherine and Miss Kinder, who are my two helpers in the class. And I also say hello to Regan M and Regan P. My math is usually kept in a special folder in an unlocked storage cabinet where I retrieve it just prior to the start of math class. The folder contains all my math and money math practice sheets for the work class. If a problem arises on the worksheet that I don't know how to do, Miss Catherine or Miss Kinder almost always helps me solve it. I also do money math problems with adding and subtracting dollars and change coins and buying practicing things at stores when I get home from school. I also do a calculator math on a worksheet. When class ends, I put my folder away and head to my next period. My third class is U.S. History with Mr. Rell. I say good morning to Mr. Rell and my helper, Mr. Kennedy. After Mr. Rell gives us our instructions for the day, Mr. Kennedy and I quickly get to work on whatever classwork is being assigned. We are currently learning about the Pacific Theater of World War II. It is very helpful to have both Mr. Rell and Mr. Kennedy in the class since they are both history experts. I really appreciate my helpers and teachers because they help me when I get confused, they help me stay on task, and help answer any questions that I have. After U.S. History, I head to lunch in room 98. After I quickly finish my lunch, I then prepare for my fourth class, which is Culinary Arts with Mrs. Kate, which is also in room 98. I quickly greet Mrs. Kate, and after she gives the class her plans for the day, we start cooking. I bring my group supplies over to their table, and I also help recycle any items that my group is done with. I'm also the DJ for the class. After culinary class ends, I reset the class for the fifth one. Then I head to my fifth class, which is English with Mrs. Heaton. After I greet Miss Heaton, I quickly take my seat with Mr. GB, who is my helper for English. After Miss Heaton gives us our plans for the day, we read the book Fahrenheit 451. We usually read the book as a class, or I read it separately with Mr. GB. We also do free reading once in a while, where the class gets to read books of their own choice. After we read Fahrenheit 451, we work on a Fahrenheit 451 worksheet about what we just read. Mr. GB or Miss Heaton usually helps me go through the packet and helps tell me what to write in it. After Miss Heaton's class is finished, I head to my sixth and final class for the day. My sixth class is journalism with Mr. Fitzgerald. I quickly say hello to Mr. Fitzgerald and wait for Mr. Kennedy to arrive. He is usually late because he helps my friend Roland in his graphics arts class right before seeing me again in sixth period. After Mr. Kennedy arrives, I take my seat. Mr. Fitzgerald then gives the class instructions and discusses our plans for the week. I've been working on my documentary and my day script for the past few weeks, so Mr. Kennedy helps me work on it. Also, Elizabeth, Jasmine, and Lexi helped take videos of my previous classes and submit them to Mr. Fitzgerald for this film that I am producing. After journalism is done, I then say goodbye to Mr. Fitzgerald and head to my bus to go home for the day. I would like to give a huge shout out to Elizabeth Harris, Lexi McElmoyle, Jasmine Brown, Stephen Kambunsa, Cameron Kennedy, and John Fitzgerald for helping me produce this film.